This John Lothian News video is sponsored by Give us an overview of the Commodity Markets Council.
We are a commodities-oriented trade association based out of Washington, D.C. We have members consisting of commodity exchanges here in the U.S. as well as abroad. And we have a lot of end-user members as well. End-user companies are typically larger or in some cases smaller companies that trade on agricultural and energy commodities. We are very involved in a variety of different regulatory and legislative issues. Recently, the Dodd-Frank Act that was passed by Congress pertaining to derivatives is probably the single biggest issue that we work on.
What's been the impact of the current and future Dodd-Frank rules?
All of these rules taken together have impacted or will impact, in the cases that the rules haven't come out but will in the future, liquidity. They will have an opportunity cost of capital. They will potentially result, we have found in many cases, the markets transitioning over from potentially here in the U.S. to other jurisdictions. We always advocate open and competitive markets. That's in our mission statement. But I'd like to say, are a balanced group that is in constructive discussions all the time with regulators and with legislators. And we don't say we don't need any regulation. All we are saying is make the regulation smart.
In 2013, what do you see happening with position limits?
While initially there was a lot of talk of appeal from the get-go, I think that was immediately after the court vacated the rule. I now detect that that talk is kind of, I wouldn't say been eliminated, but has subsided a little bit. It's sort of, decreased in volume, if you will. They will have to come out, the CFTC, with a new rule that while they will try and get many of their priorities into the rule, it will have to comply with a more robust cost-benefit analysis, and it will have to find a finding of necessity, as the judge said in his ruling.
Do you see a possibility of rule harmonization between the U.S. and the EU?
I think they want to make sure that they avoid regulatory arbitrage, while at the same time preserving their own domestic priorities. That's always a hard it's sort of between a rock and a hard place because they're often competing objectives. But there is certainly a lot of talk going on among the regulators internationally. To what extent the rules finally, when they all come out, are totally harmonized remains to be seen. I think there will be nuances that apply to each country, as there should be. But the overall thematic nature of the regulations is, I think, going to be internationally coordinated.
What are the key rules and issues you're focusing on in the future?
They're umbrella topics within which there are various sort of sub-topics of regulation or legislation which in their own right are very important. But the umbrella topics, I group them under are CFTC reauthorization, which is a bill that's going to come up next year in Congress, and will be a venue for discussion of the Dodd-Frank derivatives rules as well. Internationally as well, there's a strong chance that we will be continuing a push especially in Europe, with all of their EMIR regulations over there, and talking with the Commission as well.